Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Friday Tech Roundup. Now I think it's fair to say that Boris Johnson's Nando-inspired risk counter on Sunday night has left many of us more confused than we ever have been, especially when it comes to navigating businesses and workforces through COVID-19. Now, whilst we've been told that the worst is over, the impact of COVID-19 on enterprises up and down the country may last months, even perhaps years, and we're actually already starting to see that impact within the IT sector. Now, we've got 5 bits of news covering up today which cover some of those impacts, but hopefully also some inspiration for those looking for ways to navigate their business out of COVID-19. Let's begin. Number 1, according to a Gartner forecast released on Wednesday, IT spend is set to shrink 8% in 2020, with expectations for IT priorities to move away from projects aimed at growth or transformation in favour of mission-critical technology that supports operations. Now, this is thanks to disruption touching everything from PC shipments to software developers' productivity and creating a revenue uncertainty across the board. Now, faced with cash flow constraints, Gartner named discretionary spending on devices, new projects and ongoing projects not returning an investment to be on a predictable checklist for IT savings for cash-strapped CIOs. Now, while companies may pause large-scale cloud projects, Gartner did note that public cloud services are expected to grow 19% this year, according to the forecast, showing a response to real-time events rather than aspirational growth goals. You can read more using the link below. Number 2, speaking of CIOs, Computing released an article earlier this week detailing responses from some of the UK's top IT leaders about what lessons they will be taken into the post-COVID world. Some of the highlights from this research saw a surge in collaboration, productivity and innovation, with one CIO saying they've seen more innovation in the past 6 weeks than in the past 10 years. Now, this article draws insights from CIOs from the Financial Times, Mars and G45 and uncovers some surprising and also unsurprising positives to come out of the last period of uncertainty. Without wanting to give too much away here, we've dropped a link below so you can check that out when you get time. Number 3, if you're as much of a fan of Gene Kim as we are over at ECS, you'll be happy to learn that technologists are continuing to delve deeper into the 5 ideals that Gene gifted to the DevOps space. Not only did ECS ourselves release a part 1 of an interview that we did on the TechCube podcast earlier this week, which discussed the key themes from the Unicorn project. We've also been keeping an eye on wider discussions around the 4th book in Gene's Landscape series, and we're pleased to share with you a little nugget we found earlier on in the week. Now, Mark Nunnikhoven has written a really engaging piece called The Unicorn Project Through a Security Lens. Whilst the book ultimately focuses on developer enablement and culture, Mark draws parallels with cloud security, explaining that the innovative and fast-paced approach of Maxine and her team would ultimately create a mountain of security challenges that would need to be addressed. He puts forward the question, what if security teams could adapt and adopt these same principles as well? Can they also dramatically improve security outcomes and fix some long-standing problems with how we approach security? You can visit the blog below to check out his answers. Number 4, speaking of security, the BBC reported that 2 companies involved in building emergency coronavirus hospitals have been hit by cyber attacks this month. Interserve, which helped build Birmingham's NHS Nightingale Hospital, and BAM Construct, which delivered the Yorkshire and the Humbers, have reported the incidents to authorities. Now, whilst the attacks aren't linked, BAM Construct commented that the significant cyber attack that they experienced forms part of the wave of attacks on public and private organisations supporting the national effort on COVID-19. These incidents came after NCSC warned of attempts to attack healthcare and research organisations during their pandemic. And with so many upgrading or moving operations to new infrastructure, the vulnerabilities these moves have caused and created are now being seen as opportunities by malicious actors. This, whilst unfortunate, is a reminder that you shouldn't rush a digital transformation, which actually leads us nicely on to number 5. So, number 5, Industry Week released an article on Tuesday detailing 8 considerations for the new era. While many companies are implementing partial sleep mode to focus on customer critical operations and business continuity plans, digital transformation plans haven't entirely left the table. Recognizing that a new normal has surfaced, this article feels that the recently increased urgency and attention to IT spend could be the elements missing from previous digital transformation attempts and could explain the poor track record of success. Now, while the article focuses on manufacturing leaders, the 8 considerations it provides for those redesigning their digital programs could greatly benefit anyone who is looking to pivot their digital strategy. We've dropped a link below, so check that out when you get a chance. And that's it. Those are our 5 big pieces of news for you this week. But before you go, there were a couple of pieces that didn't quite make the shortlist, but we feel that you would enjoy anyway, so we're going to throw them at you now. The first is that Twitter has become the first to allow all of its staff to work home permanently. So whilst they are working remotely now, this will continue long after COVID-19 has finished as well. Second piece is that the ECS TechQ podcast has been releasing episodes out of its ears, and the last 2 have featured John In and Gene Kim, so do go check those out. And last but certainly not least, we have had news that Lidl's parent company has apparently been set to launch its own cloud computing division that could become a rival to AWS. Now, before you get too excited, there's not much news about it. So with the limited details that we do have, it could just be an investment into their own cloud services, which means they could have an online delivery service rather than a Lidl on cloud services for the world. But we shall see, and we will update you if we hear anything more. And that really is it. I hope you have a phenomenal Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and I can't wait to get back to you next Friday for another episode of the Friday Tech Roundup. Take care.